So the number one thing that I do, and this is a lesson I learned a long time ago, I pay myself first. Fitness is important to me. It's the foundation on which everything else in my life sits. By investing in myself, I set the tone for the rest of my life, and everything else falls into place because I've set a precedent that I'm important, that I'm worth it, that I matter.
What is the 130-hour rule?
Okay, so the 130-hour rule is something that I came up with from my years of experience training people. If you want to be good at something, if you want to transform your body, you've got to spend 130 quality hours. And the next question I'm always asked is, what does that look like? It's an hour a day of dedicated practice for 6 straight months. One of the things that's fundamental to my belief system, there's no such thing as a free lunch, there's no magic pill, and there are no 3 easy payments of $9.99. If you want something, if you want to be good at something, you want to accomplish something, you've got to put in the time. And the minimum amount of time that you can put in is an hour a day of dedicated practice for 6 straight months.
Okay, 7 days a week?
7 days a week. If you want to be good at something, another thing I always tell people, if you want to be good at something, you've got to do it every day. Like we look at people like LeBron James. Why is he good at basketball? Because he does it every day. You look at Wayne Gretzky in hockey. Why was Wayne so good in hockey, arguably the greatest of all time? Because he did it every day. And so my number one piece of advice to people, if you want to be good at something, whatever that thing that you desire is, whatever your passion is, do it every single day. That's the real secret to success.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely a big believer in that. What are some examples of how you apply that to your life?
For me, I apply it to my life in a couple of areas. First of all, in the physical realm. I mean, I'm paid for my body. I'm paid for my physical prowess. And competing in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, competing in mixed martial arts, it's a huge passion of mine. And to be good at that, I've got to do it every single day. So that's one area. But the other area I apply it is my personal life. I'm a father of 3, and being a father is the most important thing in my world. And so every day, I try to connect with my boys on a meaningful level. Like in a world where we're busy, we're inundated with computer screens, phone screens. It really, really helps foster a positive parenting relationship to really put that stuff away and connect on a one-to-one level. And so that's something that's really important to me too. And so this idea of doing something every single day, you can apply it in all areas of your life, whether it's your relationship, your parenting, your job, your career, a hobby. Just do the thing every day and be 100% present.
Yeah, I like that. I expected you just to relate to the fitness side, but you can really apply this rule to any area of your life.
Fitness is important, but we all have so much more going on in our lives. And one of the reasons I got into fitness, and I used myself as the test case for this, I really believe fitness can make you better in every single area of your life, every area of life that really and truly matters. And so a lot of the lessons that I teach, they apply far beyond the gym because frankly, there's a lot of stuff that's much more important.
And that actually leads really well into my next thought on this. So, like you were saying, we're all really busy in our lives. We have families, we have jobs, we have kids, like you were saying, you have a couple kids. Some people are in school. We're trying to find time to work out, sports. The list goes on. And so, it's hard to make time for this hour, to make time to work out. As a trainer and an instructor, what are the excuses you hear the most?
The number one excuse is I don't have enough time. But the reality is we all have enough time. I always tell people there's 168 hours in a week. If you get 8 hours sleep a night, well, there's 50 plus hours gone. You still have 110, 112 hours left. If you work 60 hours a week, you still have 55 hours left to go do what's important to you. So I don't really buy the time excuse, but that's the number one excuse that I hear. The number 2 excuse is I don't know how. But we're fortunate, like people rip on social media, but we're fortunate to live in a day and age where with the click of a button, you have access to a wealth of information. Whatever it is you're interested in, doing push-ups, deadlifting, doing squats, it doesn't matter. you can find some good quality information with the click of a button. So the whole I don't know how, that's not an excuse either. And those are the two most common ones. What it really comes down to is people just don't want it bad enough. Because I've seen countless examples of people that will say they don't have time, that say they don't know how, but when something becomes important enough for them, they figure it out.
Yeah, isn't that true? Ah, that's such a good answer. And time is the one you hear over and over again. So what does like a day look like for you? Like how do you manage your time so that you have time for fitness?
So the number one thing that I do, and this is a lesson I learned a long time ago, I pay myself first. Fitness is important to me. It's the foundation on which everything else in my life sits. So the first thing I do when I wake up in the morning, I have a cold plunge. The second thing I do, I eat a breakfast that's nutrient dense and nutrient rich. And the third thing I do is I go train. I pay myself first by starting every single day. And when I tell you every single day, I mean every single day. When I start off my day by investing in myself, I set the tone for the rest of my life and everything else falls into place because I've set a precedent that I'm important, that I'm worth it, that I matter.
Yeah, such a great answer. And you prioritize yourself. You're investing in yourself, and that's a priority for you. You've made that decision, like you were saying earlier too. That's the other piece to this is you can say you're prioritizing yourself, but are you actually? And have you decided that this is the thing you're going to do in your morning? Because so many people don't.
Well, I want to add one more thing to that. A lot of people look at investing in yourself as taking care of yourself as selfish. I actually think it's the most selfless act you can engage in. Because if you're no good to yourself, you can't be good for anybody else. And so by working on yourself, by improving yourself, by valuing yourself, you literally make every single person in your orbit, in your circle, better. And I always say this, imagine the global totality. If every single person in this world focused on their health and their happiness, how much better the world would be in just 30 days. If people could just put themselves first for 30 days, and like I said, focus on their health and their happiness, in 30 days, we'd see a remarkable change on this planet. And so I tell people, invest in you first, and then you have the energy, the drive, the passion to just uplift everybody else in your circle.
Yeah, invest in yourself first. That's fantastic advice. So as a top fitness model, fitness coach, I want to talk a little bit more about your best workout tips and advice. What kind of workouts or exercises should the average person have in their routine?
I want to cover off 3 points first because people get focused on an exercise. They always ask me, what's the one exercise I could do to change my life? What's the one thing I could eat? What's that secret superfood that's going to make all my fitness dreams come true? And the reality is, there's a lot of things out there that work. So I've got 3 rules before we even worry about exercise. Rule number 1 is show up. And we covered that off earlier in this interview, but show up every single day, invest in yourself. The second rule, be all in. When you're here, when you're in a physical space, when you're working out, I don't want your eyes on the TV. I don't want you text messaging. I don't want you playing on social media. I want you to be 100% present. I want you to be all in and get the most out of your time. And the third thing, don't be afraid to ask questions. Be curious, be childlike, learn. If you can do those 3 things, you will be 100% successful no matter what exercise you're doing. That said, I'm a big believer when it comes to exercise in focusing on the basics. There's always some video of a fitness influencer waving around a couple of dumbbells, standing on an upside down Bosu ball. That stuff doesn't work. The tried, the true, the classics are the best. Sprinting, squatting, push-ups, sit-ups, and pull-ups. If you do those 5 movements, there's nothing that you can't do.
Interesting. Yeah, especially for the average person. Was the first one sprinting, you said?
Yes.
Interesting. Why sprinting?
It's the most primal human movement. We were meant to run. We're bipedal creatures. Like if you were to take man and put us back 10,000 years, 15,000 years, 20,000 years, Our legs were our primary means of locomotion. It's literally the most primal human movement there is.
Okay. And sprinting over cardio or both?
I think both can be valuable, although in today's day and age, we talked about being busy. We talked about being bogged down with jobs, family, other commitments. Sprints are the most bang for your buck. You can get an incredible amount of work done in a short period of time.
Yeah, I love sprinting. I don't do it enough.
Volume is the key. Again, it goes back to the principle. If you want to get good at something, do it every single day. Now, I want to talk a little bit about math. Imagine you just did 50 push-ups a day. 50. That might not seem like a lot, but if you did 50 push-ups a day every day of the year, by the end of the year, you'd accumulate 18,600 reps. My question to you is, have you done 18,600 push-ups in your life? And the answer is probably not. So if you just showed up to the gym and you did 50 push-ups and you did 50 pull-ups and you did 50 squats and you did 50 sit-ups, those 4 movements that we talked about, and then you did a little bit of sprinting to cool down, so to speak, imagine what your fitness level would be at the end of the year. You know, we fall into this practice, we fall into this trap of sets and reps and convoluted workout schemes. Just show up to the gym and play. Just show up and have fun. Just accumulate work and watch what happens to you after 30, 60, 90, 180 days. The effect is, it's dramatic and incredible.
Yeah, and what I love about that is what you're saying here too is, you're not necessarily, you don't have to be in the gym for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, like some people say, right? You can go to the gym 10 minutes, 20 minutes every single day. And it might take longer than 6 months, but over time, it's going to have a huge impact rather than not going at all, right?
Well, never mind that. Never mind the gym. Let's forget about that for a minute. Let's say you're a dad or you're a mom out there. You have kids. You're struggling. You work 10 hours a day. Your kids are in daycare. You have to pick them up. You have to spend quality time with them. Life's hard and you've got priorities. What if you didn't go to the gym, but just while you were at your job, every hour on the hour, you got up and did 5 push-ups, 5 squats, and 5 sit-ups? What if that's all you did? You would still get your 50 reps of each. And by the end of the year, if you did that every day, you'd get your 18,600 reps. You can be fit without ever stepping foot in a gym and without sacrificing the other things that are really important to you. So I tell people, just focus on accumulating volume. Just focus on accumulating numbers. It's a lot more simple than you think.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the ways I even get myself to work out is actually sometimes I just tell myself, let's work out quick, right? Like 10 minutes, let's go for 30 minutes. And once I'm into it, that's actually what I find is almost like the secret to motivation is once you get started, once you're in the flow of things, like it's hard to leave sometimes. You almost have to trick your brain, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And every minute matters. 5 minutes is better than no minutes. 10 minutes is better than 5 minutes. 15 minutes is better than 10 minutes, and so on. And so every bit of work that you can do will get you closer to your goal.